tight because TikTok is getting fired up about this first story. So Rachel Zegler is being slammed online for comments she recently made about her newest project. She's starring as Snow White in the upcoming live-action remake of the Disney classic and has been talking about the modern edge her character will have in this latest adaptation. She says that Snow White is not going to be saved by a prince this time around, that... Interesting. And also that the original 1937 version had too much of a focus on the love story between the prince and a guy who, quote, literally stalks her. So some people online are saying Rachel is coming off as unappreciative and pseudo-feminist because of her remarks. So what do you guys make of this reaction? Do you agree with the criticism?
Oh, yeah, you guys don't like it. All right, well, here's the deal. This is not the first time that actress Rachel Zegler has made news for the things that she says while promoting another movie. She was in the movie Shazam, and while she was being interviewed by a reporter, she told the reporter asked her, why did you take this role? What was special about it? She's like, well, I needed the money. And a lot of people didn't like that answer either. So what I think we're seeing is a very outspoken young woman. She was born in 2001, so she's in her early 20s, right? She's an outspoken woman. And
I got shoes older than her.
Right? Thank you.
Yeah.
So I don't agree with what she did, and I'm gonna back it up. I understand where she's coming from, and I do agree with her on some points. It's just the delivery, and I wish she had done a little bit more research. But I understand where she's coming from. In her time, she's known a black president, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, LGBTQ plus conversation. He has a completely different view of the world, and we are still fighting for, equality and all of the other things. But back in 1937, I wish that she had looked
when
at
the original Snow White came out.
When the original Snow White came out, I really wish that she had looked at the time. Instead of criticizing the movie, I wish she had taken a look and not been so micro, but more macro as to what was happening. Because back in 1937, when this movie came out, listen, the first black person hadn't even gone to a integrated school yet. That didn't happen until 1960. Women only got the right to vote in 1920. That was 17 years before this movie actually came out. A woman couldn't go into a bank and get a mortgage until 1974 in the United States. So when you think about 1937, women were just entering the workforce, and it would take some 30-something years before we were even making up like 40 to 50% of the workforce. So in real life, not in a fantasy animated movie, women really did need men in order for us to survive.
Okay.
And it's hard for her perhaps to accept that, but I really wish that during the promo of this movie, she had thought about all of those things and then how special it is for her as a young Latina woman who has this lead role. Lots of Latinas came before her, including Rita Moreno, who was born in 1931. Rita was only 6 years old when this movie came out, and I wish she had taken this moment to be appreciative of how far we've come and not to really trash that movie, but to appreciate all the changes that have happened.
But she's a baby. She's a baby.
But does context also matter? Because she was asked a pointed question, and the guy said, you said you were bringing a modern edge to the film. How so? And this is a 2.5-minute clip from a fan expo that she was asked by Variety on a red carpet. I find that with social media, we tend to sort of get people in trouble for not really so much even what they say sometimes, it's what they don't say. And then TikTokers go online and fill in the gap. She should have said this. All the things you just said were beautiful. She didn't, that would have been beautiful to say, but it's a 2.5-minute clip that she sort of reacted, off the cuff. And then we're getting mad at her for all the things she didn't say. She didn't tell us about climate change. What are her views on that? She didn't tell us what she had for lunch. Do you know what I mean? I'm being facetious.
I know, but she could have just talked about the role itself and the importance of that movie. First of all, Snow White was... No one thought that movie was going to be successful, by the way, in 1937. It cost $1.5 million to make. They thought it was going to flop. And it ended up making so much money that they were able to finance the Disney studio in Burbank, California, which is the reason why we have all these other Disney movies and the reason why Zegler has this role in the first place. So I wish she had just...
seen
more understanding of the road that it took, the long road for us to get here, and that we get to change the narrative. I just wish she had done that.
You know what I want to see? I want to see more stories of a dude who is saved by a woman. normalizing these things, these tropes. They existed. Many movies were all about saving the princess, and the man has to come in, and she's almost dead, and he revives her. I just want to see that. I wish he'd maybe brought up
real life.
Just let's flip it around. Also, maybe we just don't need so many remakes anymore. Can we just do? Maybe just make a new movie. Yeah, I don't know. Just throwing it out there.
I just love that we're debating the fact that in 1937 women didn't have choice, and on TikTok and social media where there's this firestorm over, you know what, it should be fine if a woman just wants to stay at home and be a mom, or it's like Rachel says, you know, I don't need to be saved by a man. The fact that we're even having that discussion already tells me there is progress. I'm just sick of us fighting as women to have choice, and then the very person who attacks you for exerting your ability to choose is another woman. I'm just sick of that.
Nicely said. Nicely said.
Look at that! Snow White just ate up our whole first segment. What happened?
Hey there, what did you think? Drop your comments below and join the conversation. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you can find more on everything from food and fashion to pop culture and current events. See you soon.